Is Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 194 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, is there enough sand in Atlas Fallen?
The whole kingdom of it.
The whole kingdom of it, that's right. And Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand was developed by Deck13 Interactive. I play this on the PC. It was a sizable 31.49 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
Decidedly less on the Series S, 28.9 gigabytes.
Okay, interesting. One other thing I forgot to mention, this game, the original, because this is actually, I think, a collection with the DLC and all that stuff, came out in August 2024. The original came out the year before in August 2023, multi-platform. So all across Xbox, PS5, and PC. So good on them. Deck13 did all that fun stuff. And what kind of game did Deck13 make, Tom?
I put very blandly a third-person action RPG.
Okay, yeah. Just added a few more words. Third-person open world action RPG. Because the world is
okay.
Open-ish. That's what I wrote, so we're sticking with it. And what is that game loop, Tom?
Okay, so I put use combos to beat up monsters to unlock new methods to beat up monsters.
Ooh, okay, fair enough. I went a little further back. I said complete tasks to increase stats to take on more challenging tasks.
Yeah, I got into the third person action, and you went a little bit more RPG.
Yeah, yeah, I did. You sure did. Wait, but at the end of the day, it all filters down to basically the same thing, right?
Yeah,
it's an action game. You got to beat things up and get stronger, so you can beat bigger things up. So.
Yeah,
that's all. And now let's get into what we liked about this game, Tom. What did you like?
I like that it jumped like right into the game.
Yeah.
You're right into the action. You're playing the game. They're teaching you the moves and stuff like that. They don't waste any time here.
No long cutscenes. No, I mean, they kind of pause a little bit, I guess, to tell you how to do things, but you're still kind of actively, it's not like a big pop-up, like, hey, let's just cover the entire screen with this action or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. So yeah, I agree. That was nice to just kind of drop in, and a little jarring because again, like a lot of times I'm just expecting again a game that seems like it has a lot of spectacle and stuff like that you would need to see some exposition happening. So
yes,
but they didn't do that, and it was interesting because you kind of started playing. That was you started playing as, and I wrote this down as it reminded me of Shadow of Mordor. I don't know if you played that game, but really cool game on Monolith, and you play as essentially like an Aragorn kind of character, but there's like a spirit that's like kind of possessing him too.
Okay.
And it's very similar here where this being, I totally forgot the name of it, is like helping your character throughout their journey. And
isn't it like Nail or Nile?
No, I think you're right. I think that's what it was. And and I think the voice acting was good overall. I didn't see anything that was a little off-putting there. What else you got here, Tom?
I liked the character creation. I like that you didn't start there. And again, because you start by playing this ancient character,
right? And
then you're kind of like in the spirit world, and then it's like, okay, now you're going to pop out to the real world. And when you pop out to the real world and kind of awaken from the vision, it's like, well, who are you? And they kind of quickly pause and you make the character that you're actually going to play as.
Yeah.
I think that was really cleverly done in that I'm playing the game without having to make a character.
Yeah.
I get a feel for the combat, get into the game quickly. Then you get to take a little bit of a breath, make a character. It's not too deep that I got stuck making my character. Like you can pick from some presets. You can customize those presets, but you can do it all pretty quickly. Which I enjoyed. And then I discovered that you can play the game co-op, which kind of explains the character creation because I was like, why do we need to do character creation at all But it's like, oh, well, if you're going to play co-op, then you want your character to look different from the other, the other player. So,
right. Or just do it like Bungie, and then everyone's a Master Chief, but then each campaign is still just one Master Chief. I don't know. Make it make sense, Bungie. Oh, well, they're not there anymore to do it. So 343. Well, who knows if they're still around. Anyway, I liked the idea of variety of enemy types too. I thought it was a good mix of what you were fighting. I didn't feel like there was. I mean, of course, there was like some cannon fodder or whatever that was out there for you to kind of just beat up quickly. But then, like every once in a while, this just giant thing would pop up, and you're like, oh god, what am I supposed to do with this? And then have to figure that combat with that and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. I thought the missions
got flying enemies.
Yeah, flying stuff that pops out of the ground, and you've got things with shields and things that you have to change your combat mechanics for, which was I was like, cool. A little bit of a thinking man, not like just constantly button mashing like a Dynasty Warriors or something of that sort. So that was cool. I appreciated that. I don't know how you felt about it. I thought the mission types felt a little bit varied. I mean, there was still obviously their fetch quests and stuff like that were there, but I think they kind of allowed you to do a little bit of freedom with them and different. And like of course, you can approach multiple missions in however way you want. But I don't know. I thought it felt pretty good overall. The mission types. Would you? What else you got here though?
There's a sequence where you like surf in the sand, and it's like a chase sequence, and it's early in the experience, right. And I thought that was really cool. Like navigating the environment, it's all happening very fast. You're running away, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. I don't know. It again, kind of just gripping you, grabbing you, throwing you into the action kind of thing. And then I liked that mechanic just kind of sticks around. I was concerned that it was going to be one of those kinds of like, you're going to do this thing that's on rails and it was really cool, and then you're never going to do it again. And then while you're like moving around the environment, you can do that kind of sand surf again. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is like part of the game. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. I think the pacing in general, I liked, where like there is exposition. But it's broken up by combat and exploring. So it's like you explore for a bit, they do exposition. You do some combat, they do some exposition. It's not all like heavy-handed, we're going to dump 30 minutes of lore on you. Yeah. Nor is it combat, and then there's no lore, Right. So I don't know. The way that they broke it up, I liked. Yeah. At least early in the game. So yeah.
And kind of going back to your character creation variety there. It's not only like how you can customize how your character looks, but you can also customize how the character plays, because there's different classes, if I recall. And when you're playing cooperatively, it was kind of cool, like to be able to have that option of like, maybe I want to be a tanky person while I have someone that is potentially someone that's like doing all the damage on and all that stuff. So it was like kind of neat, especially if they give that co-op option. So it's nice. Good times. Anything else you want to talk about here, or shall we get to our dislikes?
Just the last quick thing is, this game, because it's an RPG, has collectibles. Spread throughout the environment. I enjoyed that they seemed, I mean, I could be wrong, maybe I missed a whole lot, but they seemed pretty easy to spot. Okay. So unlike a lot of games where I feel like they just hide things just to hide things on you, to kind of make you have to like go with a fine-tooth comb through all the environments, and they feel really clever about themselves, like, ha, we hid that really well. These things kind of glow and shine and like catch your eye from a distance. So it's like, oh, there's something over there worth going to go get. Yeah.
Again, like it pushes you to explore the world as opposed to just being on that straight, narrow path to the next objective. So yeah, good on them for doing all that stuff. But now
I felt like I got the things. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like not that they were giving me 100% completion or anything, or letting me know that I got everything, but I felt like I was getting everything.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So shall we get to our dislikes then, Tom?
Yeah. So, okay. So you were mentioning you liked the voiceover. I enjoyed the voiceover too, but like the dialogue, at least in the very beginning, there was a lot of like, and then like characters like saying like 3-word sentences that were like incomplete thoughts. And like, I don't know, just all felt very disjointed. And I was getting kind of irritated by it. I was like, can someone finish a sentence? Can you let me know what the heck is going on?
Right.
Like it feels like I'm playing a sequel, but I'm not sure that I am. So like, because it drops you in kind of in the middle of things, it starts name dropping. Like I was like, I don't know who any of these people you're talking about are. Should I?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe that's the whole point of like discovering that too, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But usually it felt like you were playing the second or third game in a franchise, and it was like, these are all names that you should know. But no, I checked. Like, it's not. Like, it's just the first game in a,
Yeah.
So, okay. Like, I think you're right. I think it was probably done to make you go, what are they talking about? And get interested and invested and like, I'm going to find out who these things are.
Yeah.
But to me, it just felt like I was missing something.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yes, while I did say that the game did have good voice acting overall, there was I noticed some like weirdness where like certain characters, their dialogue like just stopped completely. Like they would like voices just didn't like register, but like the text would still keep going. You're like, what's going on? So I thought that was kind of weird. And then there was sometimes like where there was like lip syncing issues and things like that. So but I mean, I thought the voices overall, like the banter between you and Niall was good. I think overall it wasn't like it was trying to be kind of like edgy, but not like nonsense edgy, like Forspoken or something like that. They're not just people not dropping F-bombs and stuff like that. It's like, okay, cool. So yeah. Did it destroy the experience? I don't think so. I mean, like you said, like the combat just felt pretty good overall. And like you weren't just pestered by dialogue throughout the whole thing and whatnot. So yeah. I thought, well, right off the bat, the game starts you off with Niall, who, like as you mentioned, is a spirit person, but we're playing a third-person game, and Niall doesn't have feet. What's going on here? Like, I thought that was really weird. I thought that was really weird that he just didn't have feet.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just something I noticed.
I mean, you're looking for feet. I get it.
But I mean, I thought we were okay because it's a third person game that you didn't have to worry about. But this time it's a third person game with no feet. What's up with that? I mean, I get it. He's supposed to be a ghost or like a spirit, but
yeah.
Then why even give him legs? Just like let him be a disembodied. I don't know.
Yeah. He should be like Genie from Aladdin.
Yeah, you could do that. I'd be cool with that. Why does he need? Oh, but then it's like, why does he have to jump? But then how is he jumping off of the stumps of his feet, like of his legs? Like, come on. Makes no sense. Yeah. So, I don't know. That was a big thing for me. And the other thing I was a little confused about was how the save system works. I thought, I was like, okay, is it only when you go to an anvil? Because there's a place where you can go and do upgrades and things like that. I was like, is that the only place, or is the game auto saving wherever you are? So I was a little confused. I'm not sure if you got any clarification on that.
I did not. And I guess conveniently when my hour was up, I was at an anvil and had the option to save.
Okay.
So I think by pure luck, that's not on my dislikes because it usually is, right? If I can't save wherever I want to save, it would show up in my dislikes. But it isn't because I think when the time was up, I was able to save. So it didn't even register to me that I may not have been able to save when I want to.
Very odd. But whatever. That's just how it is, I guess. What else did you not like?
Okay, so I did feel like the combat sometimes got a little tricky in that like you're getting ganged up on even on the normal difficulty,
right?
Which is fine. I mean, like you're supposed to be able to handle a couple of different enemies at once. What gets a little weird is that some of them are off screen, so you're engaged with one enemy and then you get attacked by something off screen. There are like alerts and things to teach you how to deal with that.
Yeah,
but they don't teach you how to deal with that when you first encounter it. They teach you how to deal with it like kind of later.
Yeah.
And so I was getting pounced on by bad guys before learning how to parry.
Yeah.
I learned how to like jump up and do an air dash. Like the game gave me that ability, but did not tell me mechanically how to do it with the buttons.
Okay.
I figured it out, but I had to figure it out. It wasn't like press this and press this to do the air dash.
Yeah.
It was like, you now have the ability to dash in the air. And I was like, okay, but like, how do I do that though? But I figured it out. So it did feel a little like half baked. Like I feel like the early part of the tutorial is like really good and very clear and very like, this is how you jump and this is how you attack and this is how you do your medium attack and that sort of thing. And then maybe towards the later part of the hour or whatever, it starts to go, you've probably played action games before.
Yeah. It's
just kind of, it takes its foot off the gas, as it were. And as a consequence, we have little things like this where it's like, you air dash, you know how to do that. And it's like, or maybe I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, combat, like, we kind of talked about it. It did feel good, but when you really think about it, all you're doing is like bashing X. You're doing a lot of like, and then eventually there's Y, and then like, it's a combination of the two. So it wasn't like super deep, but like, I guess based on like how you approach things, it varies. Like, I don't know, but if you really like just water it down to what it is, like, it's just, you're just bashing X and maybe a little sprinkling a little Y in there, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you do get those like cards or whatever to apply. As you level up, you learn new abilities, and then you get to pick where in this gauge these abilities live. Or which one you're going to use. Like maybe you want to do a passive attack boost, or you could pick a passive defense boost.
Right.
And then you get like an active attack, and you have to, you put that in a different place. I liked the ability that you could customize that sort of stuff. Yeah. But I will say that creates this other problem where it feels like there's a lot of management for an action game. Like, I'm playing an action game. I don't know how I want to kind of just press X a bunch. But now it's sort of like a thinking man's action game. It's like, well, did I put that in the right place?
Right.
Should I start to overthink it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to remember if like you can respec though.
You can change at least those tiles around when you want. So there's that.
Yeah.
You get different weapons. And so you get to pick where those weapons are. So like my axe was on X and my whip was on Y. So like the whip combos were up on Y, but the axe combos were down on X. And then like you said, you can interchange them. So.
Cool. Anything else, or should we get to our other thoughts here?
Last thing, it keeps coming back to collectibles here. So I collected a whole lot of crap as I was playing, but I couldn't see an inventory list. Maybe I just hadn't gotten to the point where they show it to you.
Yeah.
But like, it was like, press this button to open your inventory. And I'm like, okay, I pressed the button to open my inventory. But my inventory is like what my weapons were and like little like journal entries and stuff. But I'm like, but I swear I collected like 15 mushrooms, but nowhere was it showing me how many mushrooms I collected,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that somewhere, but like, I think you're right. Like it's kind of buried and you're like, oh, okay. I wasn't really.
Yeah. I kind of expect almost like, because it's an RPG, you kind of expect the ability to like open up your backpack and see all the crap that's in your backpack. And I didn't really see that in the kind of traditional RPG way.
Yeah.
And I think that might be because it's leaning into being more of an action game. And it's like, you don't need to worry about this. And maybe when I get to a vendor or something, it'll have how many of the thing I have if I wanted to sell it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just felt like I want to know how much of the stuff I collected.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I doing a good job? I don't know.
Yeah, you're doing an okay job, at least for an hour, right? So
yeah, I guess that's true.
Okay, so all right, I guess we'll get to our other thoughts here. How long to beat says this game takes about 10 hours to complete.
Oh my!
Yeah, very very short little adventure for you to get on. xCloud capable with cross saves between PC and Xbox, so that's pretty dang good. And play this on your remote device like a Steam Deck or whatever else is out there. What do you got here though, Tom?
Okay, so it's a kind of a long title, right? Atlas Fallen: Reign of Sand. And I was like, well, okay, are they just long-winded or does this mean something?
Yeah.
And so Reign of Sand is a free update for Atlas Fallen, as we discussed. And the reason there's a free update is it's a little bit of a No Man's Sky type situation. So the initial release was not terribly well received. So they got feedback, and because they're a pretty cool developer, they went and said, okay. And they worked on it, and it's a free update with a whole bunch of stuff. So they have new enemies, new quests. The world's been expanded. The campaign expanded. And we were giving some praise towards that voice acting. This is new voice acting. So apparently the original voice acting, not so good. So
wow. Okay.
They redid the voice acting in this Reign of Sand.
Wow.
Yeah, right. That's unusual. Like, I understand kind of patching things that are broken, but it's interesting to me that they would go and like redo voice acting.
They
that
just
seems kind of like a heavy lift.
Huh? That's yeah. I'm sure that was not a very, very inexpensive thing to do. So hey, if they're committed, good for them.
Yeah. So not too surprising, the game was inspired by God of War Horizon series.
Okay.
I did recognize other games by this development studio, though. Lords of the Fallen, if you've played that, is by the same people, and so is The Surge.
Oh yeah, I've played the second one. That was, I mean, those are more Souls-like games.
Yes, and in fact, that was one of the things is like this is a departure from their kind of traditional MO, right? This is definitely more actiony RPG and less of a Souls style game. So.
Right. I mean, again, I think the combat translated pretty well, so good on them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tom, it is that time where we need to figure out, are we keeping this game on our respective hard drives, or are we burying it in the sand that it came from?
Like an ostrich, I'm just going to put my head in the sand. So this reminds me of another game we played, which was Immortals of Avium.
Oh,
and while this is a third-person game, and that is a first-person game, there was something about it that got its hooks, its talons in me. And I want to give it another hour at a minimum. And I think, knowing that it's only 10 hours, I think there's a possibility I might see this all the way through. So let's see how the next hour goes. If it continues to be as enjoyable as this first hour was, I think I might beat this one. We'll see how it goes.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. I'm in agreement with you. I had enjoyed my time with this game, and I am curious to see what happens with that story. It's a little weird, a little quirky, but because of that, I sometimes like weird, quirky things. So I'm gonna keep it and see what the heck happens. Maybe we play a co-op session. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Yeah. So we'll give that a shot, and maybe report back in later. So cool. All right. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter or on Threads at TC1H1D. Shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com, or check out our next streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/1H1D. And hey, this comes up on YouTube too. So if you want to check out any of our other awesome reviews that we've done, check them all out over there. Send us a comment down below about whether you really like this game. Is it worth going past the hour? Because sometimes games really front load things and the rest of it just really falls through. So that's a problem. So yeah, that'll be great for us to know. 1H1D is part of the Q2B network, and be like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network.
And that's it, Chris. We just go, we're done, right? No more.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, we're not even get to 200. We're just going to stop right here at a very odd 193. No, 184. Oh my God. Anyway, that is not it, Tom, because we are going to be trying to figure out what we're playing next. And the surprise button is going to help us. So here we go. Okay. Spirit Tea. All one word.
Okay. Well, it's not Spirit Tea 2, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. There are 2 T's in it, but not Spirit Tea 2. So, yeah, that is what we're going to be playing on our next episode. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this one. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.